Let's talk a little bit about brand architecture. This is really when we have multiple brands in the stable, so to speak. Brand architecture is the structure of brands within the organizational entity. And the way we think of this is brands either are totally embraced by the company or are allowed to stand individually. In other words, it's a portfolio decision whether or not the brand is related to the overall portfolio or whether it's differentiated. And we think of this umbrella branding versus multi-branding as being the two markers. And if we think about this, we think about branded house versus house of brands. On the left, you can see FedEx. All of those things are very visually similar, and they express different parts of the company. Corporation, Express, Freight, and Ground, differentiated by color, but no one would be confused that you are not talking about FedEx. Over on the House of Brands, many people might be able to identify the P&G brands here, but not necessarily, and it's not intentional, nor is it an idea that P&G necessarily wants to push forward. They really want to highlight the individual brand and the product that it represents. Then we look at these other two midsections here, and we think about sub-brands and endorsed brands. Apple, you could say Apple, that big Apple is endorsing all those brands, but the way they do it is that they actually have a visual similarity in the products. So they are sub-brands. No one's confused that, in fact, iPad Pro is an Apple brand, or that iPhone is, or that iWatch, or that Apple Watch, or any of those things are nothing more than Apple brands. Whereas on endorsed brands, Kellogg's, Special K is kind of a giveaway, but Mini Max chocolate or Crunchy Nut, those are not necessarily known to be Kellogg's brand, but Kellogg's would like you to know they're part of the family, so they put it right on the logo. So that's what we think about when we think about these various kinds of ways, branded house and sub-brands and endorsed brands and house of brands. So what are the benefits and maybe the disadvantages? Scale of economy is the umbrella issue. By promoting a single brand, there's a lower advertising, imagery, and communication cost. And over on the other side, multi-branding allows you to really focus on the verticals and the uniqueness of each one of the sub-brands or the brands within the overall family that are not necessarily labeled that way. It allows positive transfer on the umbrella sides. In other words, if you're good at customer satisfaction as an organization in toto, it transfers to other units. A good Apple product will confer some benefits on another Apple product that maybe someone has not known, which we call that pre-purchase decision benefit. The inability to transfer positive customer experiences is really what happens over on the other side. Say, for example, a house of brands. I don't know whether or not P&G's laundry detergent any better than another, and I don't really have that opportunity to inspect on the visual image up front. Company culture, this is important, enhances the ability to deliver a consistent message when you're an umbrella brand. And on the other hand, the negative associations, often what's bad for one brand will rub off to its sister brand. Oddly enough, people will think and look at the label and understand who else is associated with that. So there's some negatives on that side. If in fact you're all working under the same aegis, that really helps significantly. Whereas if you are not, it's multi-branded and there's many different brands under the ConAgra Foods name, then this can actually maybe create friendliness, but unlikely. More likely to happen is that customer relationships are not fully developed because rivalry sets in. That's the story on brand architecture.